Hello and welcome back to the Decent Wrestling Show, and welcome back to Superstar Ratings. I had a comment on one of my recent videos about doing a Superstar Ratings for Giulia, and so here we go. The Queen of Stardom, Giulia, Superstar Ratings. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, check the links in the description, and all that great stuff. Giulia was born on the 21st of February 1994 in London, England. She was born to Italian and Japanese parents, and I believe she mainly lived in Japan in an Italian restaurant where she worked before she was a wrestler. She became a wrestler. She started training in 2017 with Ice Ribbon, and her trainer was Mio Shirai, the sister of Io Shirai. She worked in Ice Ribbon for a couple of years, for 2 years exactly, before announcing she was leaving in October of 2019, and she signed with Stardom straight after. She appeared in Stardom in December 2019 and has been there ever since, having a feud with the late great Hana Kimura and Tam Nakano, and starting her own faction, Donna Del Mondo. There is a very divided base in the Joshi community with Giulia. Some love her and some hate her, but there's not really a lot in the middle who are just okay. It's usually very polarized, and I am one of the ones who loves Giulia.
アルフィエ・フィシャーさん I love 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 Giulia and DDN.
Wow! Grazie!
Thank
Thank you!
Love love love.
Thank you!
Thank you.
So, Superstar Ratings. If you've not seen Superstar Ratings before, it's where we give 10 out of 10 to 10 aspects of a superstar. This includes moveset, finishes, selling, character, promos, entrance, physique, athleticism, great matches, and credibility. Giving an overall score out of 100, and then they get put on the leaderboard. This is the leaderboard so far. There you go. So let's get into it. Moveset. Giulia's moveset, in her moveset, she has a missile dropkick, which looks pretty damn good. She has, which is one of her signature moves, but it's not quite a finisher, is the Glorious Buster, which is basically like a pump handle sidewalk slam sort of maneuver, but it does look pretty cool. She has a really nice running big boot that she'll do usually in slugfests, or after a slugfest she'll do a running big boot, and it looks really nice. She has a solid looking DDT, a absolutely beautiful Falcon Arrow, one of the best I've seen out of people who do Falcon Arrows. It looks stunning, and she has a really nice neck breaker. Usually neck breakers can be quite boring, but I think her one looks actually pretty good. People are going to say that's biased, but whatever. So overall, I'd say she has a pretty good moveset. I still think she needs to add a couple more things into it. But again, she's only been wrestling, 3 years? Not even that. So you can't blame her for not having, 8 billion moves that are all impactful yet. So instead of giving her a 10 or a 9, I'm going to give her a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a great groundwork and something still to improve on. Finishes. Giulia has 2 finishes. Now in this category, we give a bonus point if they have a submission and a non-submission finisher, just because I think every wrestler should have at least one submission, one non-submission. So if they get put in a submission match, it's not stupid where they don't have a submission finish, which I'd never like. But luckily Giulia does, because she has the Stealth Viper, or like an STF with a Cobra clutch, sort of. It's hard to really explain, you have to really see it to understand it, but it is a damn good submission and one of the best I've seen in wrestling. And her non-submission finisher is the Glorious Driver, not to be confused with the Glorious Buster. This is just like the Glorious Buster with the pump handle, but instead of a sidewalk slam, it's basically a tombstone pile driver. Sometimes it doesn't look that great, but sometimes it does look really great. So for this, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, but she gets the bonus point as well, so 9 out of 10 for this one. Selling. So in a recent video I talked about, I basically kept talking about how great Giulia's selling was, and yes, it is great. Her selling is amazing, especially recently of her leg. She's been selling her excellently, and her facial expressions are golden, not only in the ring and for telling a story, but also for Twitter images and replies and memes and stuff like that. So win-win for everyone. But with selling, personally, I like overselling a bit more than normal selling. So I'm not going to give her the full marks for this one. I'm going to drop it down to a 9 out of 10. Character. Giulia is a badass. She's ice cold but also can be fun at the same time. And she's really great at being that snarky sort of heel who thinks and knows that she's better than everyone. She's had some amazing feuds already with Hannah and Tam, and she's very quirky, is what I'd say. And she loves to toy with opponents. I think she's one of the most interesting characters in Stardom. You always want to know what she's going to do next, or what she's going to say, or who she's going to feud with, or what she's going to do in that feud. And that's both on screen and on social media. So I think she's one of the most developed and fun characters in Stardom. But I'm still not going to give her the full marks of a 10 out of 10, so I'll give her a 9 out of 10. Still some improvements that could be made. Promos. To me, along with Himeka, who's really impressed on the microphone, and Utami, who's done really well recently, I would say Giulia is one of the most interesting promos on the microphone. And Tam and Mayu are really good as well, but I would say Giulia's up there as one of the most interesting. I love that she has catchphrases like, I love Giulia, or she says it in Japanese, obviously. Obviously, I'm not Japanese, I can't say it. I would probably pronounce it horribly wrong. And she always ends it with arrivederci. And with her promos, she has a nice air of fun and badassery, as I said in the character section. So I'm going to give her a solid 8 out of 10 for promos.
Giulia のことが好きで好きでたまらない諸君、メリークリスマス。年内最終戦、木村花。やっとお前と試合ができる。ジュリアのこと好きで好きでたまらないんだろ。今日たっぷり味合わせてやるから楽しみにしとけよ。
Entrance. With Giulia, she has a cool theme song, although I do prefer the start more than the rest of the song, but the start is epically evil and really good. She has a cool attire, really cool attire. I love the robe, it looks great. And she has a really cool demeanour as well. So she comes to the ring, she looks like a badass, you take her seriously, she feels like a main eventer. And that's what's important, is that she gets the feeling across during her entrance. But there's nothing like out of this world, so I can't give it a 9 or a 10, so I'm going to have to give it an 8 out of 10. Physique. Now this one, if you love or hate Giulia, you can't deny that her physique is insane, especially her back. You can just see photos of her, just her back, and it is insanely, you won't believe it. Honestly, she has, as weird as this sounds to say, the best back in wrestling. Insane physique. 10 out of 10, easy one for this category. Next up, athleticism. So this is more just like athleticism / stamina. So she's had a lot of long matches as she's been in the main event a lot recently, main event Giulia, and most of them have been over 20 minutes, and she doesn't look, blown up by the end. No, she holds her own through the whole match. So that's a very big testament to her. and she doesn't do any major flying moves, but she does a missile drop kick, and I've seen her come from the top rope on a couple of other things as well. So she has a decent amount of athleticism as well. Couple that with the long matches, I think another 8 out of 10. A lot of 8 out of 10s, but I think that's fair for this category. Great matches. Now I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen much of Giulia in Ice Ribbon. The one match I did see was her match with Mayu Yukihi, and that was an absolutely terrific match. They tore the house down, built it back up and tore it down again. But the matches I have seen from her have been in Stardom, and she's had a bunch of good ones. She had an excellent match with Natsuko Tora, Konami, Himika, and the 3 big ones I would say are her match with Mayu Iwatani in the 5-star Grand Prix. It just felt like 2 of the top warriors going at it for 20 plus minutes, and they just insane chemistry straight from the bat. And then we have the one in December 2019 against Hana Kimura in one probably the biggest feud in Stardom. It was doing really well on YouTube. So I think that's one feud that really pulled in a lot of fans, is that one with Hana and Giulia. And they had an insanely terrific match. And her final opponent, which I think this is the best match of the bunch, is her match with Tam Nakano. Now I haven't seen much praise for this match, but I don't know why. It seems really odd to me because I watched the match and it was terrific storytelling. Didn't go too fast, didn't go too slow. Just a terrific wrestling match between two of the best in Stardom. And I especially want to see the rematch, and it's sad that the match got cancelled. The events got cancelled with the rematch on it, but hopefully that gets rescheduled for sometime in September. Giulia always delivers in big matches, so I'm going to give her another 8 out of 10 because she hasn't had that 5-star match for me yet, but I'm sure it's coming. finally, credibility. She is basically being built as one of the pillar stones of Stardom, and she's received a heavy focus since joining in December, already winning the Cinderella tournament this year. She's won the Artist of Stardom Championships, the Wonder of Stardom Championship, which she's currently holding, and she's main evented most shows, and she even picked up a win over the world champion Mayu Iwatani. She's been involved in big feuds with, as mentioned earlier, Hana and Tam, and even in Ice Ribbon she was a tag team champion. So she's done, in 3 years, she's accomplished a hell of a lot, and she's already one of the vocal points of Stardom, and heavily marketed as one of the faces of the brand. She's only going to grow bigger from here, and I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10 at the moment, but I'm sure in probably 6 to 12 months that could go up to a 9. But so for this, an 8 out of 10 at the moment. So overall, Giulia gets a very, very good 85 out of 100, which is insane for only wrestling 3 years that she's already 85 rated in my opinion, and she's only going to get better. She's had a great start in Stardom, and I'm looking forward to more excellent matches and feuds from her in the future. As I said earlier in this episode, I love Giulia and Donna Del Mondo.
アルフィエ・フィシャーさん I love 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 Giulia and DDN.
Thank you for listening to the Decent Wrestling Show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and put in the comments below what your rating for Giulia is, or send it to me on Twitter or wherever. Thank you for listening, and arrivederci!